Cowboys are 9-3, but to everyone's surprise, they are ranked number 2 behind only the Philadelphia Eagles. Shortly thereafter, the Minnesota Vikings, Cincinnati Bengals, Bills, and the Chiefs sitting there at 6. Now, you can find Dave Helman's power rankings on Fox Sports. But, Dave, we got you here on the desk. I don't got to go online to find your power rankings. Explain yourself. Cowboys at 2. Make it make sense.
Okay, I'll give you Philly. Philly's ranked 1, so don't come at me like that. But, like, who is playing better ball more consistently than the Cowboys over the last 5 or 6 weeks? I got Minnesota behind it. They just gave Minnesota the work. Yes, since he beat Kansas City, it was a nice win. But when I'm weighing 2 complete teams that are both playing well, Dallas beat Cincy earlier this year. Dallas didn't even have their quarterback when they did it. The Bills have been up and down recently. I think the world of the Chiefs. But considering how well all those teams above them are playing, they've got to fall somewhere. And the same thing goes for the Dolphins. I don't think the Dolphins are that bad, but you lose decisively on the road, and all these other teams are winning games. Like, where do they go? So I don't even really think it's that controversial. Who's playing better ball more consistently than Philly and Dallas right now? Let me have it. Come on, Shady.
As I look at your list here, Dave Helman's power rankings. So you got one thing right. Eagles number 1.
Yes, sir.
That was obvious. Okay. But Dallas, 2. So the Chiefs, Dallas, I'm trying to figure that out. The Chiefs are 6?
The Chiefs just lost a game.
What that mean? Okay, let's go. The Niners. The Niners.
Yeah.
Or Dallas.
I will say,
the Niners or Dallas.
I felt bad about not moving the Niners up, and the reason I didn't is because they lost Jimmy Garoppolo in that game.
Yeah. We can't do all that. We can't. We can't play doctor and all that.
Yeah, we
Listen,
can.
We gotta go.
Yes, we can. They don't have their starting
quarterback. We can't play doctor and all that type of stuff. We can't do that with the kids, not with the grown-ups. There's no way that you can have them in front of the Niners. They shut teams out in the second half.
That's a good point.
They just the Cowboys beat a bad team with the coach. Coach was just coaching with us. He coaching with them. You can't use them. You gotta. They beat the Dolphins. They beat the Dolphins, and they're top 10 on your list. How are they not number 3? How are they not number 2?
I mean, the Cowboys just beat down the number 3 team on my list, like, what, 3 weeks ago? They beat the number 9 team on my list.
How long are you going to be doing these lists?
All through the season.
Good luck. Good luck.
Joy, weigh in. Do you have an issue with the Cowboys being number 2?
I know Cowboys fans are very mad at me right now. I don't care. But, Shady, I gotta agree with Dave.
Over the Niners? Over the Niners?
They're not the same team that they went into that game. Like, they do have a 7th-round rookie quarterback.
Their starting quarterback.
Right, so I got to wait and see. And I know Niners fans are mad about that, too. Apparently, it's a hot take. I want to see another game with a 7th-round rookie. But whatever. I mean, Dallas put up 54 points. Like, that's impressive. Now, it's not as impressive to me as the Eagles win, which is why I'm glad you didn't do anything crazy.
I'm not insane, you know? Okay. Like, there's logic here.
But, that's the right place for the Cowboys this week. That's why
it's a weekly ranking.
How the rankings work.
It's a weekly ranking.
Our weekly ranking. This isn't necessarily who you think is the best team.
No.
You would still pick the Chiefs over the Cowboys.
If the Cowboys and Chiefs played on a neutral field, I would pick the Chiefs. But this is...
Wait. So if they played in Dallas, you would pick the Cowboys?
I would think about it hard.
Man,
wait. See what I'm saying? This guy's crazy, man.
Can I finish? Can I finish?
All season long.
I said I would...
You've been on my side. I'm like, I'm free. I'm sober. I'm on the wagon or off the wagon. I don't know how it works. But... I haven't had one sip of Cowboys juice all season long.
It's all up here.
And you've been secretly slipping it into your
I said I would think about it hard, but I would pick the Chiefs, even if they were playing at AT&T Stadium.
But they're not in front of them in the power ranking. I'm done.
Let's hone in on this conversation between 2 teams. That's what's most interesting right now. Cowboys, Niners. Let's hone in on those 2 teams. Because, Dave, if you are looking at the last 4 or 5 weeks, then the Cowboys do have a loss. They have a loss to a bad Packers team. If you're looking at the last 4 or 5 weeks, the Niners do not have a loss. If you are looking at what happened last week, the Eagles had the most impressive win. We all agreed on that. The Niners had the 2nd most impressive win, beating the Dolphins by 16 points, with Brock Purdy playing the majority of that game. Then the Cowboys have the 3rd most impressive win, beating a bad Colts team. Okay. So if you're ranking week to week, you got to put the Niners ahead of the Cowboys because of what the Niners did last week. If you're ranking based on the last month, you got to put the Niners ahead of the Cowboys because they haven't lost in the last month.
That's a great point.
Talk about those 2 teams. How in the world do you, because you are a logical human being, how do you reasonably and rationally put the Cowboys ahead?
First of all.
Although I agree with him.
First of all, I mean, I can do whatever I want. They're my power rankings. But no, I mean, like, look, it didn't sit well with me not having the Niners higher. It's been very impressive what they've done. I'm not trying to hate on them. It matters to me that they lost their starting quarterback, and Brock Purdy played great in that game. But that sits in the back of my mind, and I say, okay, how much do I love you if Mr. Irrelevant is playing quarterback for you, and what does that look like when you go against the league's best? And I can hear you yelling at me, Niner fans. I get it. You just beat the Dolphins with Brock Purdy. It's still different from an in-game change to a week-to-week situation where opponents are game planning for Brock Purdy. And I said on this show yesterday, I think the Niners will probably be fine because they're built to withstand that with all of their other talent and their defense. I just want to see it a little bit more, like Joy said. And then on the Cowboys end, over the last month, you just look at what they're doing. Again, I know it doesn't matter to Shady, but like top 3 in every statistical category on offense, leading the league in sacks. Their one loss came in overtime. And they're just blowing the doors off of everybody they beat.
How do you still have the Vikings so high after seeing them lose by 37 points? They've taken the worst loss when you think about how good a team actually is. They've had maybe the worst loss all season.
That's a really good point. And in a year where we're not convinced of a lot, in a year where there's maybe 3 teams that you're really sold on, because to Joy's point, how seriously can you take the Cowboys? I'll try not to drink the Cowboy juice. Keep it over here. They find ways to keep winning games. I mean, 10 wins is 10 wins. And they were bad losses. They got blown out by Philly and Dallas, but those are their only 2 losses.
They only count as 1.
Their 2 losses on the year are to 2 of the teams that most people would agree are among the 5 best. They've beaten everybody else. So that counts for something for me.
Yeah. No words? No words.
Clear my throat.
Clear your throat then.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.